So saya baru je tengah upload all the videos yang Najwa minta. So sebab tak sempat. So jadi dia tengah uploading. So bila dah siap nanti cuma ada satu yang saya tak ingat tarikh mana yang saya tulis nama, ingat Najwa remind saya nama saya tulis Genie kan, semikon. Yang tu asli saya akan missing upload. So nanti awak beritahu saya lah tarikh apa yang missing tu, nanti saya upload semula. Okay. Right. So what should we do today?
We start with the password for the attendance.
Okay, we can start with the password for the attendance. So the password of the attendance. So apa nak bagi attendance lah?
Holistic.
Holistic awak lah dia tengok proposal tu duk. So
berkali dah tengok perkataan tu.
Password will be the password will be choose one word that describes the how you feel about this course. Okay, so you can use any word. Choose a word that will describe how do you feel about this course. Apa-apa je lah. Confusing, stressful, apa macam tu. I don't understand, complicated ataupun easy, boring, anything. And you will not be penalised. Just write anything.
Only one word, madam.
Nak tulis banyak pun tulis lah. It's up to you. Up to you. It's a free country. Orang putih selalu kata it's a free country. Nothing is free. We actually all of us are not free. We are bound by Allah's punya rule. So nobody is free in this world. Semuanya bawah ruling yang created kita kan. So nothing is free. Walaupun orang kata kita free, kita tak free sebenarnya. Okay. I want to start with a little bit on SDG. Do you know SDG? What's SDG, Aiman? Aina, how are you? Tak dengar. Tak dengar. Awak dengar ke saya je tak dengar?
Semua dengar.
Semua tak dengar. Apa ni? What's SDG, Aiman?
Sustainable Development Goals.
Dia apa sebenarnya in your own words? Macam payah nak cerita lah. Orang lain, siapa boleh cerita SDG tu apa? Penting ke tak penting? Should we know or not? Buat ambil engineering lah. Awak semua ambil engineering. Najwa gelak lah sebab tengah ambil dengan saya. Orang lain ni ambil engineering. Dah ambil ke? Tengah ambil ke?
Next sem.
Oh, Azam next sem. Orang lain?
Next sem juga. Next sem juga.
Oh, semua orang next sem. Kenapa Najwa ambil awal? Najwa?
Saya second sem, madam.
Dia senior.
Oh, awak senior. Saya kena respect awak sikit lah. Senior.
Waduh.
Itulah. So, don't worry. Paling senior kat sini from the student, Faiz. So tak senior lagi. So the rest of you baru apa fourth year first sem? I see. Okay. So Najwa lepas ni bye-bye lah. Nak cari kerja. InsyaAllah. So have you done your EIT? All of you? Apa?
Aina pun sama.
Apa pun sama?
Aina sama saya 4 year second sem.
Oh, dua-dua sister ni fourth year second sem. So you will so this your last semester. By hook or by crook you need to finish this semester lah kan? InsyaAllah. So that you can graduate. InsyaAllah. So, kita tanyalah senior, apa SDG tu? Senior, other than Faiz lah, kita tanya undergrad. Apakah SDG? Sebabnya junior ni, brother semua junior kat sini. Tapi dia pernah dengar SDG kat mana? Tak pernah dengar.
Seminar.
Oh, seminar. Okay, good. So, you must know what is SDG, right?
We suppose know.
Ayat yang we don't know, we supposed to know but actually we don't know, madam. Macam tu lah, dia ada sambungan pada ayat tu. So, Najwa, you are my student. Tak boleh jawab ni, jaga awak Najwa. Apa benda SDG?
Sustainable Development Goal.
Ya, apa benda tu?
Goals yang semua negara try to achieve dalam 2030.
Untuk apa benda tu? Why is it important? If important, why?
Betul sebab dia tak nak satu country pun left daripada goal ni kiranya. So semua country akan lebih sama.
Goal tu buat apa? Goal tu buat apa? What's the aim of the goal?
Ada 12 goal, salah satunya
12 ke 17. So tapi what does sustainable means kat situ? What does sustainable development means? Najwa. Rasa macam dalam exam Bible semua ada.
Preserve, madam. They preserve in many aspects.
Dia apa? Preserve in many aspects. What do you mean by preserve?
Yes, to preserve the people, to preserve the environment.
Tu macam makosid syariah, tak ke? Apa beza SDG?
Lebih kurang.
So apa, okay, Azam, apa beza SDG dengan makosid syariah? So the UIA mesti boleh jawab. Yes. Lagi?
Makosid syariah. Dengan SDG.
Apa?
Dengan SDG ke? Dia banyak persamaan, tapi kalau SDG ni dia macam lebih dia elaborate lebih lagi.
Wow. SDG is more comprehensive compared to makosid syariah? Is that what you're saying?
No, it elaborates more. The makosid syariah is the main, but the SDG it elaborate the content in the makosid syariah. Is it?
You mean
it is part of makosid.
It's part of makosid syariah. Siapa agree with that statement? Semua kena ada agree tak agree SDG is the part of
not all. I think not all, but
not all. Apa yang tak all? So tell me which
part. I think that yang sama rata tu.
Sama rata? Gender equality?
Gender equality.
Dalam Islam tak ada gender equality?
No, but in SDG the gender equality it also include the LGBT, something like that.
Okay. Okay lah. You pass. Okay. So all of you pass. Just that the apa nama ni, I just watch a very kalau nak watch I can give you the link. It's a 2.5 hours punya talk. yang mesti awak tertidur-tidur, tertongeng-tongeng semua, the issue. And then but it's interesting, it talks about sustainable development from Tauhidic perspective. So one of the speakers was Prof. Kamal Hassan, and he went through what are the problems with the SDG. So as you know, SDG comes from the Western and secular minded, where they see this problem where the world is crumbling, the environment is no longer good, and it cannot sustain the future generation. So that's why they come up with this goal. Okay, sama-sama jom kita perbaiki dunia ini menjadi dunia ini boleh duduk lama lagi. Macam itulah dia punya, kalau simple dia nak kata macam tu. So dia kata okay, semua jom kita buat ni. So kita dah classify into, kalau tak silap saya, 17 of this goal. So semua orang patut berusaha ke arah itu bersama-sama. Macam tu dia punya tu. So so they come up with that, which is good. Sepatutnya OIC come up with that, tapi OIC tak buat apa-apa kan. So then bila dia buat macam tu, which is good, cumanya because it's coming from
UN.
The Western, the secular ni, dia missing some elements. So dalam kritik by Prof. Kamal tu, memang lama lah dia punya tu, berapa sejam kot dia punya talk sahaja. Basically it's interesting, dia memang dia kritik betul. Dia kata ramai, even the Western also critic about that. As a Muslim, one of the biggest critic is void of spirituality. Dia tak ada pasal religion at all. Dia atheist habis, memang secular habis. And you know, these countries, they want to be very secular. For example, France, dalam tahun ni, beberapa bulan baru ni, do you know what happens in France about secularism? That affects your Muslim sisters over there?
They cannot wear niqab in public.
Niqab lama dah. Niqab 2-3 tahun dah.
Cannot wear hijab.
So this lately they are filing a bill in the parliament to not allow wearing hijab in the public even. So dulu sebelum ni hijab kat public tak boleh, tapi kat school tak boleh pakai hijab. So they have, when they go to school, they have to open their hijab and then kat luar dia pakai. Tapi sekarang ni dia nak buat rule in the public pun tak boleh pakai tudung. So because their statement is our country is a secular country, so we cannot allow ni. Macam kita lah, kita kata Malaysia is a Muslim country, therefore kita kena tak boleh, certain benda kita tak allow, macam tu lah. So they're using that to ban hijab. So they are now fighting, sebab tu dia ada panggil, kan dulu ada, kan hari tu ada Me Too movement kan. Me Too movement ni dia ada, awak tahu tak Me Too movement tu apa, Hambali?
Tak.
Ha?
Tidak.
Ya Allah, ya Rabbi. Oh, ni.
Tak follownya.
Solehin, Me Too movement tu apa?
Saya tak pasti.
Tak tahu jugalah tu. Orang lain? Apa Me Too movement? So, anybody knows? Awak semua tak tahu? Benda tu like viral satu dunia. Pak Is pun tak tahu ke?
No, I just read it. So no. Prior to this, no.
Hai, itulah awak semua ni. Macam saya dulu kot. Macam saya sekarang, sebab that's why you need to read news. Dulu saya macam tak baca news juga. Tapi you know why? Is we as a khalifah, okay Najwa ni engineering ethics. As a khalifah, we should know what's happening in the world. Okay, so that's why and Me Too movement ni dia interestingly kat Malaysia dia tak viral sangat sebab kita tak ada masalah ni sangat. Sebenarnya ada, tapi tak seteruk kat negara Western. So kalau Google Me Too movement, dia keluar apa, Faiz?
Let's see here. It's a social movement against sexual abuse and sexual harassment where people publicize allegations of sex crimes. Publicize allegations?
Publicize allegation means that dia beritahu orang. Sebelum ni dia orang suffer in silence. And benda ni memang sangat banyak kat western, especially dia start dengan Hollywood. Kita suka tengok, awak semua suka tengok movie kan? Kan Solihin suka tengok movie ke tak? So movie Hollywood tu yang kita suka tengok tu, there are lots of abusive dalam tu yang tak pernah dicerita oleh orang producer. Biasanya the alleged crime tu dibuat oleh lelaki lah kepada perempuan, sebab perempuan always the apa nama ni, the benda yang tidak dapat defend diri dia. Dalam Islam pun is always dalam Quran ke sunnah ke, always Islam always protect the women sebab nature dia macam tu. So bila especially dengan lelaki-lelaki yang jahat di dunia. So jadi so what happened is Me Too movement tu actress, dia celebrity starts to come out, we tahu oh dulu dia kena sexual harassment dengan orang ni, kena rape dengan orang ni, kena ni. So macam dulu dia tak pernah cerita, semua orang malu nak cerita. So dia cerita sebab for the women, dia cerita, in order to remember that story and nak cerita tu, satu malu, satu lagi is a trauma. It's not easy. So they buat tu. So bila seorang perempuan keluar cerita, rupanya ramai lagi perempuan yang kena, semua bercerita. Memang in the end topple lah seorang director yang sangat besar dalam Hollywood ni. Maknanya dia kena masuk penjara. Kalau tidak dia happy je, kaya raya, everybody sanjung dia, dapat award, Grammy award here there. So then dia masuk penjara. So then the Me Too movement go across countries. Dia pergi ke country-country lain, dia pergi ke UK, France. So movement yang macam Korea, sebab K-pop pun banyak problem ni. So jadi cuma Muslim countries ada juga normally, tapi Alhamdulillah I don't know, in Malaysia tak banyak sebab kita sangat, mungkin sebab kita orang Islam, kita tak banyak lagi, kita orang ada iman jugalah lagi. Kalau orang-orang kafir ni, dia orang ni, alamak, tak apa dah, dia cakap Melayu pun. So dia orang ni tak ada iman, so dia buat apa benda dia nak. Tapi so sekarang ni nak cerita pasal hijab tu, dia ada movement dia panggil apa, hands off, apa dia punya hashtag, dia ada hashtag macam Me Too movement, dia ada hashtag Me Too, hashtag Me Too, apa-apa Me Too. So yang France ni pun dia ada buat hashtag. So sebab bila orang buat macam tu, dia macam it shows our solidarity and support kepada Muslim women dekat France lah. Sebab dia orang tengah fight the bill, apa nama ni, kena buka tudung. Can you imagine tak boleh pakai tudung dekat you keluar. It's very sad, right? Very sad. So and why do they have to fight alone? Mana orang lain? Sebab orang lain tak tahu pun yang dia are suffering. Tak tahu pun news tu, tak baca news. So sebab tu kita kena tahu juga, sebab zaman sekarang ni is a global world lah, brothers and sisters. Nowadays is a global world. It's not just Malaysia. You are not just living in IIUM. We are living in a global world where there's tak ada sempadan because social media. So you can show your solidarity and support kepada the sisters anywhere in the world or brothers anywhere in the world dengan social media. So we should know and we should act and show our support to them. Okay, so just nak cerita yang SDG ni sebenarnya lepas dengar program Mahasai, is a very beautiful, dia bagi parable of SDG ni. Lepas dia cerita, dia kritik kenapa SDG ni dia tak holistic and everything. At the end dia kata imagine macam ni lah. Dia kata dia ambil contoh macam dalam surah Al-Kahfi. Dalam surah Kahfi tu ada 4 cerita. Cerita apa? Saya dah cover hari ni before. Apa 4 cerita yang dalam surah Al-Kahfi? The story that Allah told in surah Al-Kahfi. Hello?
Pasal kebun.
Tukar yang kebun lagi?
Tentang
yang
Ashabul Kahfi lah.
Ashabul Kahfi lagi?
Tentang Nabi Musa.
Good, lagi?
And the final
Zulkarnain.
Zulkarnain.
So 4 cerita. So dalam cerita tu ada pasal pekebun tu. So jadi Kamal Hassan ambil apa nama ni, dia tiru the way Allah cerita pasal pekebun tu sebagai parable pasal SDG. So dia kata, imagine, dia kata negara-negara dalam SDG UN ni dia macam kita ni duduk kat dunia ni, so kita come up with this SDG. Padahal dunia ni ada tuan, tapi dia orang semua tak acknowledge tuan bumi ni, which is Allah. So dia orang come up together, jom kita baiki dunia ini, taman ni. So dia bagi contoh macam duduk dalam satu palace, dalam satu kawasan istana. So istana tu ada, tapi king tu dia tak tunjuk diri dia, duduk dalam istana dia je. Tapi rakyat-rakyat jelata, slave yang dalam istana ni duduk kat tu, dia beri duduk, dapat taman, dapat air, dapat macam-macam. So dia tengok, taman ni semakin merosot, so kita kena buat something. So dia orang come up together with a plan untuk cantikkan taman tu without asking the permission from the king and without consulting the king what is the best thing to do untuk taman tu. So dia bagi analogy macam tu lah. Sebabnya boleh ke orang tu buat macam tu? Kenapa tidak acknowledge king yang yang mempunya taman tu? So which mean we should go balik pada apa yang dalam Quran dan Sunnah, apa yang Allah nak kita buat. So one of it, king tu akan kata taman ni bukan sahaja benda fizikal, taman ni ada benda-benda spiritual yang kita kena baiki. Kalau lah dunia ni pun cantik, tak banyak sungai mengalir air tu, tapi kalau manusia tidak kenal Tuhan, tidak remember pada agama, maka tidak balance. Sebabnya, tapi masalahnya sekarang ni semua orang tidak acknowledge king tu. So itulah beza kita dengan orang lain. Kita ni adalah slave dalam taman tu. So kita kena acknowledge siapa Tuhan kita, siapa the owner of the taman, dan kita patut ikut dia lah, sebab we are nobody. Sebab taman kita tumpang je duduk kat dunia ni, sedangkan dunia ni milik dia. So I think it's beautiful lah the way Prof. Kamal Hassan put the SDG. So SDG is good. I'm not saying it's not good. It's good. However, dia ada benda-benda kekurangan yang kita kena, especially benda spirituality pasal tauhid, yang kita kena, as a Muslim, kita kena aware about that. Okay. Sebab SDG you should know. Nanti awak nak kerja ke, sekarang ni banyak company yang nak go for SDG. So kalau awak tahu, kalau dia dalam interview dia tanya, boleh jawab, maybe you have a bonus point lah. Okay. Now, let's go to
Madam, for your student, is there any of your student that say that when they go to interview, the company ask for SDG?
No. Tak ada lagi lah student beritahu saya, tapi I know because as for example Sime Darby ke, company besar-besar macam tu, dia start buat company, this the new trend, company dia ada macam biro ke ataupun sektor yang SDG yang dia nak buat, nak cover benda-benda tu. So saya nampak ada satu company engineering dekat Port Klang pun ke arah benda tu. Dia pump a lot of money sebab that is the trend. The company semua nak tunjuk yang dia sustainable. Semua sebab dia nak suruh orang beli. Kalau kita ada company, kalau kita nak beli roti roti A dengan roti B. Roti A ni sustainable, roti B ni tak sustainable. So kita nak beli kat roti A lah kan. So macam itulah, dia macam semua orang sekarang ni orang nak pergi ke value base. So kalau company tu bijak, dia akan pergi ke arah tu. So that's the trend. So you should know the trend, so that when they ask you, you already prepared. Kata tak tahu SDG. Tiba tak tahu, tak apa, ramai je orang tak tahu. Universiti lain ramai je orang tak tahu. Tapi bila semua orang tak tahu and awak tahu, then you will shine. Bagus budak ni. Okay. Alright, so kita...
Thank you, Madam.
Welcome. So kita continue with apa? Where did we stop last time? Do you remember?
He just finished the base system.
Oh, okay. Finish lah. Yang tu habis dah tak? Ada saya suruh buat apa-apa ke? Dah habis ke yang tu? Tak ada orang jawab ni. Cuba tengok notes. Have you finished about that? The base resistance ni? Azam?
Yang
Ha? Aiman?
interdigitated cum like base tu macam mana?
Saya suruh awak cari kan? Nak cari tak?
Dah cari dah.
Okay, dah cari. So what did you find?
Yeah, it's like the name suggests the like a comb.
Can you share your screen?
Wait.
Okay, good. So if you can see here, this is the interdigitated. You can see macam like a fingering. Nama lain interdigitated, dia ada nama lain juga. Nama dia fingering. Kalau baca buku, kalau Google, kadang-kadang sebab tu bila dia open book ni, awak tak jumpa juga jawapan tu sebab kadang nama dia tu boleh nama macam-macam. So dia mungkin ada tapi dia kat website tu dia guna nama lain. So antara dua yang saya tahu nama yang ni. So interdigitated atau fingering, dia macam finger lah, macam ni finger. So whereby the base punya contact tu dia buat macam finger ni to avoid, so that setiap base dengan emitter ni akan dekat. So the diode ni dekat. So it doesn't have to go to resistance a long path where the resistance will be higher. Okay. So this the what we call it, the ni apa nama ni. So you can see there are many base. The base ni, semua base ni banyak. So therefore that solve the problem. Okay, thank you. Stop sharing. The other thing I asked you another question, right? Tak ada orang tulis.
Getting why dia deviate.
Apa?
Why the graph deviate.
So why it is more significant at higher voltages? And I say that you should know, you should be able to think from your first year electric circuit class. Any answer? Ada orang dapat jawapan? Saya bagi hadiah kalau dapat jawapan.
Madam, I don't know if this is the answer,
Mm-hmm.
but what I found is it said that number of electron injected from E region depend on the VBE voltage. So if the VBE voltage is increased, then the number of electron will increase, and that will cause current crowding.
It's still not answering my question. Of course, yang tu memanglah base. What you just explained is the current crowding effect, which is base resistance effect. My question is why it is more significant. So it happens at semua kat any level, but as you go higher of the voltage here, it is more significant. Why? Ada jawapan lain? Ada jawapan lain? So tak ada orang nak hadiah. Going once, twice, gone. Okay, so you lose the chance to get the prize. So the answer is because Okay, kalau fikir kan, if you think and use your electric circuit, if you understand this, we talk about this before, how this apa nama, how this works, right? So the current has to go through here, and to go here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in order for at this diode over here, it has to go to 5R, correct? 5 times the resistance to do that. So for each, so you learn from your SPM first year, V equals to IR, right? So it means that so this is all in series. So this in series with this, in this series with this. Alamak, saya ingat ke highlighter. Okay, so this is in series with this. So which means that the current is the same. So which means that dia ada sini ada IR. Okay, what is IR? IR is the voltage drop. IR is the voltage drop. So for example, kalau you ada, apa nama ni? Kau sini you apply 5 volt, then you apply 10 volt. Okay, so in order to determine the total current, you bagi 5, you bagi semua apa nama ni, semua resistance. So what I want to say is that when the voltage is higher, the current will be higher. Okay, when the voltage applied at the base is higher, the current here will also be higher, which means that the drop at each of the resistor here will be higher. So katalah you apply 10 volt, ni saya katalah setiap satu ni kita loss 1 volt. So kita by the time dia sampai kat sini, it's like 10 minus 5. So jadi tinggal 5 volt je sini. So kalau tinggal 5 volt. So if you apply a smaller voltage, the drop here will be smaller. Therefore the difference over here will not be higher. The difference will be smaller. Therefore the effect of the current crowding or base emitter will be more significant at higher voltage. Sebab drop dia tu will be higher compared to smaller voltage. So you lose more voltage along the way. So that's why it becomes like this ni. It's more significant at higher voltages. Okay. So another thing, why current crowding is important to know and need to solve, because localized heating. So ni yang in the end dia akan terbakar and everything, because we, as much as possible, we want to spread the current. When we have any contact, so macam for example lah, kalau kita design the semiconductor, kita design dia macam ni. For example, kita design dia macam ni, katalah ni the whole semiconductor, katalah ni n-type, macam tu, katalah the holes here is n-type. So you want to connect this n-type to the outside world. So awak boleh buat contact besar ni je, metal contact. So awak, and then daripada metal contact ni keluar, or awak boleh buat macam ni. So which one is better? It will be this one, right? Because then you have the current can go through many paths, so it won't be localized. Okay, so ni in terms of physical design, ni bukan macam the physical design of the device will affect the current flowing juga. So bukan kita calculate from circuit tu saja, physical pun kena tengok, sebab dia akan impact where the current will flow. Sebab tu dia banyak simulation. Kalau sekarang ni banyak software simulation yang mahal lah. You have to pay a lot of money to do simulation ni. Awak boleh design, lepas tu awak buat contact macam ni. Betul buat contact macam ni, and then you know, then awak boleh tahu kat mana, dia akan tunjuk kat mana the spot yang apa nama ni akan ada banyak current. Dan kat situ kita tahu ada problem, so we can solve it. Okay. Any question? No? Any question?
No.
For now, no.
This
Okay, so next is current gain. Okay, so next is, okay, dia ada dua. Okay, the effect to the current gain. Okay, this is another secondary effect. So kalau tengok graf ni, what is this graph? Do you know what is this graph? Have you seen this graph before? Mungkin pernah kot. Dalam lab awak tak pernah buat graph of. So this HFE, also known as beta. The gain. Okay. Gain versus IC. Okay. So this is a graph to show how the gain versus the current. Ideally, ideal world, do you expect the collector current to change with beta if everything else remains the same? So this is apa ni? You don't expect it. You ideally it should be like this. It should be constant. The gain didn't change. If you don't change anything else, the apa nama ni, regardless of the value of the IC, the beta should remain the same. However, when you do experiment at low IC, medium IC, and high IC, you will see that the curve is, the gain is not constant. So it reaches the ideal value at a certain range. So that's why when you buy BJT, they will tell you the optimal operating range for the transistor. So they can kata, they will say this around this range, because this is where the ideal gain is there. So you shouldn't operate it below a certain value, and then higher than the certain value. So the reason why, because the performance of the BJT is not optimal. It's degraded at these two regions. The question now, we as semiconductor engineers, why? Why is this happening? So they do experiment, and then they found out the behavior is like this. Why is the behavior like that? Okay, so we will explain this. This first part of the behavior is due to the what do you call it? The recombination current domination. Macam mana nak cerita tu? Okay, let's go there. Saya buka nota saya. Curve effect. Actually, I can give some mana? Tak ada ni. Ni, okay. Found it. Okay, so we know that the beta, remember the graph just now, this is beta, this is IC. Okay, and the relationship between beta, the gain, and IB is beta equals to IC over IB. So this is IC. So now, so if IB remains constant, okay, if IC change, okay, macam mana nak kata, okay, also we also know IC, IE equals to IC plus IB. If IC increases, most probably IB will also increase. So therefore, that's why we are expecting the what you call the gain to remain constant. So however, okay, let's focus on this. At low IC, okay, at low IC, okay, kalau IC low, what do you think IB? IB be low or high? If you look at this equation here, right? If IC is low, you think IB will be low or high?
Low. Low.
Low, yes, good. So because you know this is low, so the coming is also low. IB will also be low as well. So okay, so at low IC, this is this part. At low IC, IB will be also low. Okay, the problem is okay. Then we already understand how you get IB. How do you get IB? Physics. How do you get this IB?
Recombination.
Yes, good. IB is due to recombination. Okay, so it means that at low IC, the IB is low due to the recombination is low. However, okay, okay, beta numberless. So, okay, which means that the recombination is supposed to be low at low with low IC. The problem is this recombination, okay, dia apa yang recombine? Do you remember what is this recombination? Is the recombination of what? What happens in the base? Faham ke soalan saya? The recombination happens in the base whereby if you remember yang ni dekat sini. So recombination happens in the base whereby this electron will travel and then will enter the P, which is majority hole, and you will have recombination in the base. And due to the loss of the hole here, it will be replaced by the hole coming from the circuit, and therefore you get IB, right? That's how you get the base current. So here this is ideal case whereby the recombination and the replacement, the current that IB is due to the replacement of the recombination here. Tapi in a real world, there will be extra. What's extra? The extra is due to the we learned before generation recombination process. Remember yang kita cerita pasal is the band gap with the conduction and valence band. So and remember we have defects, and then you can have generation and recombination current. So you can have electron being generated. So this is generation process, and you can also have recombination through defects as well. Okay, so at low current, okay, at low current here, because of the current is very low, any generation and recombination current, generation or recombination will be affecting the overall, what you call it, the overall current, if you understand. Sebab generation recombination ni, so it means that in our BJT there is defects. Nothing is perfect. There will be defect all over. But the defects, this generation recombination process of this defect will happen throughout, but from the low IC, middle IC or high IC. However, at high collector current, the base current also high. So any small changes due to the generation and recombination current you don't see the effect. For example, kalau saya bagi contoh yang lebih jelas, for example, kalau awak ada current, dia katalah 1 milliamp. Lepas tu awak ada generation current tu 1 milliamp. So total jadi 2 milliamp. So this number will be significant. Kalau saya bagi satu lagi contoh, I equals to 1000 amp. And then you plus dengan 1 milliamp. So this 1 milliamp is like 1001. So this 1 milliamp over here is not significant, right? You understand what I'm trying to say? Okay. So at low IC, the small value of the generation recombination current is affecting the overall current. So therefore, because of that, so it means that this IB is higher than normal. It should be at a lower value, but when the IC is higher than normal, so IB is higher, it means that the beta will be smaller. So that's why you can see here, the beta is smaller than what it's supposed to be. But as you keep increasing the IC, this generation recombination current is less significant. Okay, that explains this first part. Any question? Awak faham tak?
So, madam,
Uh-huh.
we can say that at low IC, the IB is significant. That's the main point, right?
No, the IB is always significant in high or low IC. Dekat high IC pun, in order to dapat beta, IB pun kena significant. Kalau tidak, macam mana awak dapat beta?
So at low IC, the IB will be significant. Is it? The IB is big.
Apa?
Is at the low IC, the IB not stay constant, but it's considered large. Is it?
Relatively large. At low IC, the IB has dominantly affected by this generation recombination process. Therefore, IB at low IC, this generation recombination current affects significantly the base current, which increase the value normal than what it's supposed to be, which reduces the gain. You understand? Ada soalan? Kau tak faham tanya?
Okay, lower region, I think I understand. But what happened to the higher IC region again?
Saya tak
What is the
cerita,
bit?
saya tak cerita lagi.
Okay. Because I thought Madam highlighted that part. Sorry.
No, saya baru cerita kat sini. So saya nak pergi ke high ni. Tapi saya nak settle yang ni. Yang ni ada ke soalan lagi? Tak ada? Semua faham? So, I already give you the chance to ask question. Bukan salah saya dah. So, awak tak tanya soalan. So, it's not my fault anymore if you don't understand. So, if you don't understand, ask me apa benda yang awak tak faham. Okay, now, so the important thing is for you to understand how you answer in the exam is based on how you understand. So daripada awak tulis tu saya tahu awak faham ke tak. Kata your explanation tu you will explain through your understanding. Okay, now now let's look at the let's look at the high region, the very high region of IC. So what happens? So you see the beta reduces. Okay. This is the beta keep increasing because as we increase the IC, the generation recommunication become less and less dominant. It becomes like that. Now, then ideally everything goes as ideal over here. Suddenly at very high IC, wow, the beta drops again. Okay, and so why? To answer that, we explain it using nama dia Kirk effect. Kadang-kadang nama lain dia Webster effect. Macam-macam nama. So that's why kalau Google tu macam-macam nama lah. So sebab tu bagi saya if you ask me in semicon, the name is not important. What it is important. Apa benda tu, kefahaman terhadap benda tu is important. So which sebab nama boleh tukar macam-macam nama. If you tengok dalam throughout of my semicon class, there are many names for the certain things. Ada panggil generation recombination current. Ada panggil Shockley Reed Hall current. Benda sama je. Tapi maknanya if you understand apa benda-benda tu, tak kira nama dia apa, you be able to explain in the class or you understand it means that you understand the concept. So you can pass the course. So the name is important but not really important. The most important thing is the understanding. Okay. Now 30 minutes Kirk effect. Okay. Kita ada berapa kelas lagi ya? Kita ada
5.
Ada 5 kelas eh? Are you sure? Kenapa banyak sangat? Okay. Saya ada ni, lepas tu saya nak 2 kelas lagi. Saya ada 3 je. I just need 3 kelas lagi. Yang ni apa? Okay. So I just need 3 more classes including ke effect ni. So boleh berehat lah lepas tu. After the Kirk effect is the last effect that you'll be learning in bipolar junction transistor. So benda-benda ni, heavy dose emitter ni, band gap narrowing ni, Webster effect ni, semua ni saya dah buang. So you don't I cut. Saya simplify so you don't have to study a lot. Syllabus sebenarnya banyak. Kalau saya nak, saya boleh shovel everything in your mouth. Maknanya saya nak. Tapi you know, my interest is not for you to learn a lot. My interest is for you to understand understand everything walaupun sikit. That's my the way I setengah orang dia letak macam-macam dalam course outline dia. So lecturer can we can do anything, you know. We are the owner of the course. So kita orang boleh buat banyak letak ataupun sikit letak. It depends. Ada lecturer yang tak banyak, dia punya bukan dia fikir jahat, bukan dia nak menyusahkan student, tapi dia punya thinking, oh, the student should cover all this, so that when the students go out, the student will be able to know, to have experience and know and be able to answer. Tu dia punya thinking. Kebanyakan yang macam tu lah. Tapi sebab saya tahu semicon ni dia subjek yang bagi saya lah, tak tahu lah macam mana, bagi saya bukan senang. Senang ke subjek semicon? Kau ada tak kata senang?
More to understanding the process.
So dia senang ke susah? Kalau cover banyak, do you think you can able to cover?
It will be difficult if you cover more.
Because even the concept tu pun awak kena nak faham tu senang ke? Tak senang sangat kan? So macam kalau saya bagi je macam tu aja, saya go very fast, saya pergi cepat of a certain topic tu, it might be difficult for you to follow. So and as mentioned, apa nama ni, and subjek ni sebenarnya saya rasa bukan kita je, saya rasa orang putih pun, mana-mana pun. Kalau tanya saya lah, saya dulu masa degree, my major was electrical and power. Saya punya major, saya memang majoring, saya buat all this calculation, you know, kalau transmission line tu, kan transmission line yang TNB punya ni, so tu part of my course. Saya kena belajar calculation, macam mana nak buat multiple transmission line, parallel series, 3 phase. So I studied that during my undergraduate. And also the machine, electrical machine pun saya punya fokus masa degree. Machine ni macam motor, synchronous motor, benda-benda tu awak belajar tak?
Belajar.
Awak belajar kat mana?
Plus power.
Introduction to power system.
Power system.
Oh, introduction to power system okay, so awak belajar introduction. Saya belajar detail lagi pasal benda tu. Maknanya awak belajar surface je benda tu. Saya akan belajar lebih detail tentang benda tu, different types and also calculation. So I remember my FYP masa saya undergrad dulu on electrical machine. And zaman saya, tahu dah tahun berapa tu lah, 2000 tahun 2000. Tahun 2000 I did my FYP. Tahun 2000 tu MATLAB baru keluar. Can you imagine? MATLAB baru macam wow, MATLAB tu. Semua orang tak tahu MATLAB lagi. Nobody knows how to use MATLAB. So dia baru keluar. So macam wow, simulation baru nak ini up. So I remember, so semasa tu saya kat UK. So maknanya kat Malaysia memang tak sampai lagi lah MATLAB masa tu. So saya kat UK, I remember ni cerita sikit lah. Saya punya supervisor tu, Prof Morgan, dia ni tua sangat lah. Dia macam tinggi, kurus, tua. Dia tunggu nak pencen je sebenarnya. Macam lepas saya grad, dia pencen. So dia memang tua. So dia dekat UK tu, sini FIP ni awak macam mana, awak boleh pilih topik mana awak nak buat kan. Dekat sana, my university, kita orang tak boleh pilih. Boleh pilih, macam dia bagi, dia suruh kita pilih top 5. So maknanya dia ada list of ni, and we have to choose the top 5, and then lecturer tu akan determine kita akan dapat yang mana. Okay, so masa tu saya kira student cerdik jugalah kot. So I got a first class masa tu. So biasanya student cerdik, student yang top ni, dia akan dapat topik yang dia nak. So I choose number 1 topik dia, electrical machine simulation. You know why? Sebab saya tak nak masuk lab. Saya ni sebenarnya bukan yang pandai. Saya tak pandai hands on, to be honest with you kan. Saya ni, tapi bila PhD saya buat banyak hands on. Saya masa undergrad, kebanyakan perempuan macam tu. Saya ni general lah, bukan nak sexism or you know gender bias ke apa tu. Generally macam tu. Generally perempuan dia very good in theory. We are very good in thinking, we are very good in ni, tapi in hands on, nak butang mana nak tekan, pusing banyak mana, tekan apa, dia macam slow sikit benda tu. Circuit ni nak letak macam kita nak solder, dia bukan tak boleh buat, tapi dia macam tak berapa pandai. Okay, so Then so saya pun macam itulah. So I tried to find apa nama ni, topik yang saya tak perlu masuk lab. Satu lagi masuk lab, banyak bila masuk lab, kat mana-mana lab kan, awak pergi lab mana-mana, ada lelaki ke perempuan kat dalam lab?
Lelaki.
Lelaki. So jadi kat UK macam gitu juga. Mereka masuk lab yang saya ingat tu penuh lelaki, macam lelaki technician kat situ, apa nama ni, tua-tua, ada muda, ada tua. The environment is not I don't feel comfortable in that kind of environment. So saya avoid. So I'm telling you the plight of sebenarnya engineering ni sebenarnya bukan field untuk perempuan. Walaupun saya mengajar engineering, it's a field for men. However, perempuan boleh buat tak? Boleh buat. Tapi dia ada limitation. Satu, sebab the environment itself. Betul, satu lagi, kadang-kadang in any field that always good to have both gender, perempuan dengan lelaki. Do you know why? Can anybody tell me why? Kenapa bagus walaupun field tu macam, kalau field perempuan pun elok juga ada lelaki juga kat situ. You know why?
Different way of thinking.
Yes. So it's a different way of thinking. Dia memang emphasize tu otak perempuan ni lain, otak lelaki lain. So macam kalau saya perasan kalau dalam kuliah kalau kita ada meeting dengan profesor, kebanyakan lelaki lah. Tengok kuliah engineering, semua profesor tu bawa kerat je perempuan. Semua lelaki, right? So it's a field dominated by male. So so sebab tu perempuan, kalau engineers perempuan ni, kalau tengoklah, cuba tengok perempuan engineering dengan perempuan accountancy ke IRK ke ada beza tak? Ada, ganas macam lah budak engineering. Ke tak Najwa? Lemah lembut lah? Tak. So I remember I talk to Dr. IR Khairil, dia UniKL sebelah kita kan. Sebelah kita ada UniKL BMI tu. Dia one of the director for center over there. So masa saya duk borak-borak ni, sebab saya ada masa berapa hari ni, sebab tu saya macam borak-borak je sekarang. So apa nama ni, bila saya jumpa dia untuk meeting lain, meeting lab, he's very nice. Dia dulu dulu banyak duduk dalam industri, lepas tu dia masuk become a lecturer, buat PhD, become lecturer. So dia pun borak-borak tu, sebab dia baik tu, saya pun kata okay, boleh tak kita, sebab one thing bila saya pergi universiti lain, saya suka tanya pasal ratio lelaki perempuan dalam universiti tu. That's one of the thing that saya passionate about. I'm passionate about gender. Kalau banyak benda saya passionate gender, saya passionate about education, saya passionate about tolong susah. Dia ada benda-benda macam, kalau benda-benda tu saya akan buat ekstra sebab saya minat kan, macam awak lah minat main Lego for example, awak kan berjam-jam tengok Lego ke whatever you do. So benda tu benda yang saya passionate. So saya tanya dia, so dia kata dekat UniKL BMI ni, dia kata ratio dia, saya kata kat UIA ni kita ada problem, you know, the whole of UIA kita ada problem, ramai sisters compared to brothers, ratio dia. So dia kata kat situ dekat UniKL BMI dia terbalik, 90% are brothers, 10% are sisters. So dia kata saya kata wow. So this is, saya kata this is match made in heaven, you know. Dia lah duduk dekat. So you know, so macam this is a very great opportunity. So betul dia kata the funny thing that dia sebut dia kata, imagine kalau dalam kelas 60 tu ada 3 orang je perempuan dalam kelas dia. Kalau dia ada 60 tu ada 3 orang perempuan. Lepas tu so saya kata okay, Dr. Khairil, jom kita buat program ni. Saya tengah go through dengan UniKL nak buat program between university, macam Baitul Muslim punya program kahwin. So jadi saya engineer, right? Tapi I'm passionate about certain things. Sebab you know why? Sebab ramai perempuan baik tak kahwin dekat UIA ni. Sebab mungkin lelaki di UIA tak bagus ke? Tak tahulah itu. Okay, saja. Sabar. Sebenarnya saya tak tahu kenapa, tapi bukan. Sebenarnya statistically memang ramai perempuan kat UIA. Ratio tu 9-1, 8-1, 4-1. Memang ratio dia, memang perempuan kat universiti memang ramai perempuan. Sebab Sebab apa? Sebab dia kena dengan nature perempuan yang teori. Sebab kalau kenapa BMI ramai lelaki? Sebab dia technical university. Dia tak sama tau. Technical university ni macam politeknik tu. Pergi politeknik, penuh lelaki. Saya tak suka pergi tempat yang ramai lelaki. So kalau lelaki nak happy, pergi politeknik. Ramai lelaki. So lelaki ni kan macam, dia orang ni tak berjenis. Sorry lah, macam dia orang macam gurau-gurau. Dia tengah kasar kan. So macam kalau kat universiti, semua orang takkan gurau kasar depan saya. So akan jaga. So tu cara dia. So different male and women. So jadi bila saya kata, jom kita buat program ni. So masa dia kata bagus tu. Sebab dia kata memang ada problem. Sebab ramai dia. Problem dia pula, ramai orang dia tak jumpa jodoh perempuan. Sebab ramai sangat lelaki. So tapi dia kata yang funny tu, dia kata komen student lelaki dia lah. Dia kata bila tengok student perempuan dekat dalam UniKL tu macam lelaki dah, cara cakap pun ganas apa semua. Sebab saya kata memanglah Ayah Khairil. Sebab you know why, Dr. Khairil? Sebab they have to be like that. Kalau tak, dia kena bully. Imagine kalau ramai lelaki, awak semua macam itu, awak tak kena bully. Awak kena bully punya. So people and bully atau people will take advantage of you. So you have to change. So saya kata memang kesian kat sisters kat situ, because they have to be like that. Dia memang cara cakap pun jadi ganas apa semua. Sebab kawan-kawan ni semua lelaki. So jadi apa nama ni, kenapa saya cerita pasal ni nak ceritanya pasal kenapa saya nak cerita pasal saya passionate gender ni. Apa cerita sebelum tu?
Different mind thinking.
Kenapa cerita pasal different mind thinking?
Tadi Medium cakap
Why certain field needs a combination of both girl and boy.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So maknanya apa nama ni, gender is daripada situ. Gender is important. So maknanya engineering is not designed for women. Tapi perempuan boleh buat lah. Cumanya sebab tu kalau orang tanya saya, kalau tanya anak saya kan, kalau ada different field tu, anak saya perempuan, ada certain field saya rasa tak payahlah anak saya perempuan masuk. For example, civil. Saya rasa civil memang lagilah very ganas. Dia punya cara, dia punya benda kena buat tu kena berat, kena ni. So macam dia tak sesuai sangat untuk perempuan. Betul nak kena bergaduh dengan kontraktor. Kalau tengok civil engineer out there yang practicing, memang cara dia bercakap tu lain lah. Kalau nak tahu, tengok dekat practicing engineer yang masuk dalam UIA, Prof Maisarah, dia sekarang HOD civil. Awak tengok cara dia bercakap macam mana. Dia joget macam dalam kuliah meeting, dia joget kuat gila. So macam saya kata betul cara dia cakap, I memang macam ni, I kena cakap macam ni sebab kat dulu I nak kena gaduh dengan kontraktor. Sebab dia kan, kalau dia lembut-lembut macam tu, kontraktor akan akan hempuk dia lah. Macam in the end company akan rugi, dia akan buang kerja. So nak tak nak dia kena change, dia kena gaduh lah dengan so kesian lah. Tapi sebab tu dalam whatever situation lah, brothers, when you are there, we are in engineering, so you should to help lah perempuan yang stuck dalam keadaan macam tu. Sebab kadang-kadang sebab memang kalau awak keluar nanti kan, you will see that the engineer is very biased and very sexist. Kat mana-mana and in leadership pun very biased and very sexist. Sebab tu dalam SDG dia ada gender equality in terms of leadership juga. Dia macam ada berapa percentage of the whole politician dalam country tu kena ada berapa persen perempuan. Sebab semua country, so mana-mana memang lelaki akan dominate as a leader. And the problem is bila yang feminis ni nampak, bila lelaki menjadi leader, lelaki yang jadi leader, lelaki tidak berapa baik menjadi leader, dia akan tidak menjaga interest of perempuan. Dia hanya jaga interest diri dia dan mereka sahaja. Dia tak nampak angle perempuan yang perlu dijaga. Sebab tu in the end dia rasa, feminis ni kata kena ada leader-leader dan perempuan dekat situ. So that perempuan ni akan fikir pasal kemaslahatan perempuan-perempuan yang lain. That's why benda tu ada kat situ. Sebab for us, kalau lelaki tu faham Islam, faham macam dah Islam, konsep Islam, Nabi jaga semua perempuan. So jadi sepatutnya it doesn't happen kalau orang yang faham Islam. Tapi kat Malaysia pun still ramai orang tidak
Concern.
tidak
Madam.
apa?
Concern.
Tidak concern. Dan dia concern tapi tak buat apa. Yelah, kesian, biarlah dia. Tak apa, kesian, Allah, kesian tu biar pi dia. No? You don't dare to do anything. You're not brave enough. You don't put effort. You don't rasa macam benda tu kena diperjuangkan. Macam tu. So, which is sad lah. So that's why kebanyakan feminists in the world, kenapa they stand up because of that. So because mereka ditindas. So jadi engineering, sebab tu kalau tengok memang even logic thinking pun dia sangat sepatutnya lagi senang untuk lelaki untuk fikir benda logik, sebab otak dia tu memang sangat logik. Perempuan ni banyak emotion. Sebab tu jadi ibu, kalau tak ada emotion tu perempuan tak boleh jadi ibu. Sebab kalau dia tak akan sayang anak dia, dia tak akan berkorban beyond logic. Ibu ni dia akan buat something beyond logic. Dia akan berkorban diri dia sanggup untuk anak tu. Which is tak logik. Betul tak? Logik ni kita jagalah diri kita. Tapi benda yang benda emotion ni dia akan go beyond logic. So sebab tu perempuan equipped with that. Allah has given that to perempuan. Tapi dalam engineering ni semua benda logik. So kita ditrain untuk berfikiran logik. Saya pun as you go higher, awak buat PhD, awak jadi lecturer in engineering, so everything will be logical. So otak saya ni, kalau otak saya ni awak boleh compare the thinking of women, engineers women dengan engineer lain-lain. So sebenarnya untuk lelaki lagi senang nak handle sepatutnya lah perempuan yang logik ni. Sebab kita boleh di-rationalize. Umi tengah kelas, no. So, tapi it's not easy. So, we have to, sepatutnya yang boleh excel more brothers lah. Tapi masalah brothers bukan dia tak cerdik. Dia tak logic thinking. Brothers in the world lah dalam engineering ke apa. Sebab awak malas. You don't work hard. Perempuan ni, dia bukan cerdik sangat. Cerdik tak? Cerdik. Perempuan ni cerdik. Dia bukan, maksud saya cerdik in logic, tapi sebenarnya dia kerja kuat. Perempuan ni, dia kerja kuat. Betul Najwa? Betul ke tak? Aina betul ke? Kerja kuat? I'm telling you the truth. Perempuan kerja kuat. So lelaki ni, kalau awak kerja kuat, you can be much better than perempuan. Tapi kebanyakan lelaki, I don't know why, malas. Nak tidur je, nak buat benda-benda yang tidak bermanfaat, you know. So in the end you don't excel. Sayang lah. Padahal engineering you can excel more than perempuan. Tapi perempuan banyaknya perempuan kerja kuat. Saya dulu kerja kuat.
Madam,
Yeah.
there's a phrase saying that if you give a job to a lazy man, then he will find the most easiest way to do it.
Yes, a lazy man. Dia bukan lazy man. I would say a smart man. Saya pun a smart person. My professor teach me macam supervisor saya dulu, Professor John tu. Kita orang Melayu ni kerja kuat. Orang putih ni tak kerja kuat pun. Dia kerja sikit je. Tapi bila saya buat tu, selalu prof saya akan puji yang orang putih ni. Saya betul dia keep on saying to me, Fazlin, you don't have to work hard. Sebab macam kita kerja kuat, dia kata you don't have to work hard, you have to work smart. So saya kata, what do you mean? So dia kata work smart means that you plan kerja awak. So maknanya macam awak kata find the easiest route. Fikir dulu, ni kita dapat kerja terus buat. So no, dia kata no, dapat kerja, duduk, sit out, ambil masa untuk berfikir apakah yang perlu dia buat. Mungkin kita fikir 2 saat, orang tu akan fikir macam 5 minit. Dia put more time in planning. Lepas dia fikir tu baru dia execute. So in the end dia punya tu dia relax kerja. You don't have to put as much time, tapi result dia better macam tu ataupun sama. Right? So it's a smart way. Sebenarnya the easiest route is the smart route, and that is what the Prophet also teach us. Nabi kata kalau ada 2 benda yang halal buat, pilih yang senang. So dia konsep dalam Islam dah. Right? So maknanya tak payah ambil yang susah kalau dua-dua halal. So jadi macam example ada rukhsah, tak ada rukhsah. Awak pergi travelling, dua-dua tu halal, ambillah rukhsah. Because it's the easier one. Right? So tu konsep yang even Islam pun ajar kita konsep-konsep ni. So jadi lazy is not part of being Muslim. Kalau awak nanti tak tahu awak ambil engineering ethics, hopefully your lecturer will cover that. Itqan and ihsan, part of itqan and ihsan as a Muslim we believe tak ada in our dictionary being lazy. Tak ada. Orang Islam tak pernah diajar untuk menjadi malas. Orang Islam diajar untuk all out. Kau tengok ayat Quran banyak yang suruh macam habis satu buat benda lain, habis satu buat benda lain. Kau tak percaya, bacalah surah Al-Insyirah. Dia cerita tafsir pasal cerita tu, pasal surah tu. So memang konsepnya tak ada laziness in Islam. Cuma masalah kita tak faham Islam, maka sebab tu kita relax lah. Kita ingat ke Islam tak ada cerita pun tak apalah, malas. Tapi that is not. It means that kita tak faham Islam bila kita malas. Tu konsep lah. Okay. Alright. Anybody wants to add anything? So, on this?
All good.
Okay. So, next class, we will have Kerr effect. We'll talk about the Kerr effect ni akan lama sikit sebab paling susah antara konsep-konsep secondary effect tu Kerr. So, so we will cover that on the Kerr effect on just next class. So next 2 class after that we'll cover MOSFET. MOSFET saya nak cover very simple how the MOSFET works, and saya tak cover dia punya energy band diagram of MOSFET sebab complicated. Sebab energy band diagram dia tak normal sebab energy band diagram dia ada insulator. So and ada insulator, lepas tu dia ada apa nama ni? Another metal ataupun ada semiconductor. So jadi dia punya konsep tu difficult sikit. Yang BJT, PN junction semua semiconductor. So senang, awak dah tahu. So tapi in MOSFET ni dia ada metal, oxide, semiconductor. So semiconductor awak faham, then you need to know draw the energy band diagram of the insulator of that metal. So betul dia ada work function. So benda tu complicated sikit. So
dia ada relation dengan Schottky junction pak ya?
Schottky directly tak ada insulator. Dia ada semiconductor dengan metal saja. So Schottky lagi senang compared to MOSFET punya energy band diagram. Sebab bila insulator tu, so dia ada banyak konsep kat situ. So macam tak apalah, kau nak belajar, kalau berminat boleh PM kita, have a separate tutorial. I'm sure you won't. Tak tahu saya akan offer ni, tak ada seorang musuh dia datang. So unless you are passionate about that, then you will come. So biasa kita cover yang simple tu je lah. At least you know how the MOSFET works from the perspective yang structural. Energy band diagram tak payah, it's complicated. Okay. Alright, that's it. Can we end the class with the doa?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin asrafil mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma ahdina bil iman wa amitna bil iman wa akhina jannata ma'al iman. Allahumma ighfir lana dzunubana wa liwalidayna warhamhuma kama rabbayana shaghira. Allahumma khtim lana bi husni khatimah wa la tahkim alaina bi su'i khatimah. Rabbana atina qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahmah innaka antal wahhab. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Let's close the class with Tasbih Kifarah and Surat Al-Asr. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilaik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal 'asr. Innal insana lafi khusr illa allazina amanu wa 'amilus solihat wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. Okay, see you on Thursday insyaAllah. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Jadi,